This one's about me and the kind of research I do. For those of you who are not familiar with it, there's a branch of philosophy called phenomenology, which involves the introspection about the patterns and features and operations of consciousness. I started on a project about 10 years ago to do a research study, publish what I know. I'd never been much of a grant maker, and I really didn't know the bureaucratic process through which I would have to go. So I went down to the provost to tell him my good news about the federal grant I got, the funding I would use. Said I'll study consciousness, I love philosophy, the research method I will use, phenomenology. Said he to me, now let me see if I have heard you right. You'd like to use a federal grant to find your inner light. There is a process you must use that I can plainly see. You'll have to get approval from the college IRB. You'll be a human subject. The data's from your mind. You have to be protected from what your search may find. Fill out this form in triplicate. Send it out today. We wouldn't want your inquiry to suffer from delay. I looked at all the questions that the IRB would ask and quickly realized this was not a simple task. I called the research office to find out what they meant about the part where I could ask to waive informed consent, because the only human subject was my own living self. If I declined the study, it would never leave the shelf. I knew as the researcher that nothing could be worse, and so myself I knew I'd try to bully and coerce. The IRB approved it. The letter was polite. We worked out all our differences so I could do it right. I then began reflecting in my office every day. I hoped to learn a lot from it and publish by the way. One day as I was leaving, a storm began to blow. The stairs outside my office were quickly filled with snow. I slipped and fell and bumped my head and got my glasses bent. I knew at once I'd have to file this great adverse event. The IRB reviewed my work and found to my dismay that every subject I'd enrolled had suffered in this way. My project was suspended. I could not think at all. They sent a letter to the feds who always were on call. The federal officials performed an inquiry and then investigated, and then they debarred me. The college was embarrassed. The consequences dire. The president gave me the choice to die or else retire. You've listened to my story, and now I bet you fear that federal regulations were the end of my career. In fact, I left the college. Indeed, I did resign. I took up golf and fishing, and I thought I'd lost my mind. But then I got a phone call from the local college staff. When they said what they wanted, well, you know, it made me laugh. The college needed someone from their community. Please, would I be a member of the college IRB?